Hey guys, I know allegedly 6:35, but I'm having issues with my laptop, so we're gonna start it already. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. You know who we have today. Today we're gonna Storm Tech. You guys know him. If you guys don't know him, then you're under a rock. But also shout out to our sponsors first before we start. We have JSD Supply, Gideon Optics, Goonbeam. I'm gonna go get that flashlight in a bit. I got a Goonbeam flashlight, the EDC V2. That shit is amazing. Also, shout out to Marconi. Make sure you guys use code SABAR for all your purchases. That helps maintain the show. Whatever you guys could, I appreciate it. But let's see who is on here first. Oh, we got Spectre Rate. Fuck, I'm Mexican, bro. I don't even know how to speak, to be honest. We got the homie G Code. Hey, we got Ron Bear. Shout out to Ron Bear. Ron Bear finally got that package. It took like 2 years, bro, but you got it, and that's what matters. Let's see. We got Julio Andre. Shout out to him. He's a homie, bro. We got DJ Play Nice. Savanity. He's always here. JC9, hey, you can't tell that to people, bro. Like, that is very, very classified. We got the biggest deck in town. Yes, you heard that. He has a large, thick deck. Um, Dark. Mavis. Who else? We got Matt. Oh, we got Man Against the Masses. We need him here because last time you would have made amazing memes off of me. Yeah, for real. Hey, but he got it, bro. I'm being accountable for my stuff, so I had to send him his stuff. We got Goon Beam. So I'm gonna bring you guys the man, the myth, the legend. This guy is amazing. Everybody in GunCan knows who he is. We have Mr. Stormtech.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Still need to get my soundboard, but I miss my soundboard, bro. For reals. I had a dope soundboard. I think I had Ralph going like or some bullshit.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a couple bangers in that one. Um, Introduce yourself. That way I could jump on my laptop. I'm gonna give you guys Swarm Tech. Swarm Tech. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Cool. Absolutely. Yeah. So that was way too generous of an intro. I'm not a myth or a legend. I'm just a man. I am unreasonably handsome, but also humble. So mark that down. And yeah, been doing some GunCAD designing things for a couple years now. Released the Scarab, the Monarch. Teased a couple of projects that like will probably never come to fruition, but they might. You never really know. That some things that people were really excited about for a little while. Hey, there we go. Welcome back.
I think this camera looks worse.
It's a little bit darker, but I think it's got a little better frame rate, so we can fix it in
Right?
post, right?
Fuck. Hold on, bro.
You're good, dude.
This
Don't sweat
stupid
it.
computer. Fuck. I don't. I could. You could. I know you could hear me, but I can't hear you at all.
Oh, I can just I
And I know it's the damn headphones, bro.
hey, technical difficulties are always fun. It's we deal with that quite a bit. And
There we go.
yeah, can you hear me
I
now?
can hear you. Yeah,
Cool.
perfect.
Nice. Nice.
All right, man. So fuck, it's just been a crazy day today, bro. Like it's just
Mhm.
been it's a good day. It's crazy, it's good, but I mean, let's get to it, right? I think the last time me and you had a show together, right, was I think when I interviewed you. No, wait. When did
Think
you're
so?
right, we inter no, at a battery. Were you there?
I don't think I was there. No, I was traveling.
Okay,
I
and
think last
then
time you and I were on a show, I was in like North Dakota traveling for work or something like that. I remember I had this like really terrible like like gold hotel room back window thing. It was terrible.
okay, hey, no G code. I actually just bought. Oh, IPS is in the house. Shout out to him. Print Your 2A is in the house. That guy's amazing.
My boy.
But G code, I bought a booster, bro. I like that. So if you didn't see the show with Unseen Killer, my internet was just crapping out like bad. And the issue is that where I live, like the way the router is set up, certain areas it sucks. And that day the internet decides to crap out on me, bro. And it was like Unseen Killer. It was, it was a good show. It was 3D arms, and
Hmm.
then it was a mess. I would just kept freezing in and out. So I got pissed that day, and I went on Amazon and ordered a booster.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, bro. But let's talk about uh hold on. Let's talk about where you've been, bro. Like the reason I brought you on this show and I wanted to do an interview with you is because first of all, last show was crazy, and it's okay. There's times we're gonna have crazy shows, and people are gonna and we're just gonna be wild. But I knew having you on was gonna be a real talk show. We were gonna talk and catch up, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to know where has Swarmtech been? How has he been? What has he been up to?
Yeah, absolutely. Uh to put it very shortly, working, to put it very longly, working way too fucking much. So I travel a lot for work, for the people at home, and I have been home for like 1 week out of 2024 so far, and before that it was like 2 weeks for like the 4 months prior. So been pretty busy. I've also been kind of quiet in the like GunCAD space because when I'm away from home this much, I don't really have a ton of time to like put together builds and troubleshoot them and go to the range. Like I can get in maybe one range day a month or something like that. So it's just really tough to get that kind of time committed for building. And when I only have like a couple of weekends or something like that a month, like I'm going to spend that with my wife and family. So I've been kind of away from the gun cad scene, but the one thing that I have been able to do while traveling quite a bit is fuck around with drones. So I had something posted on my Instagram not too long ago about a drone build that I did, that I'm going to be putting out like a tutorial on for out of battery, which is this little guy here, which is just like a little 3.5 inch like park flyer kind of thing. And just to show people that it's super easy to get into like building drones and stuff like that. That's something that I think our community, a lot of guys have probably heard about it, and I'm now finding more and more people who are like, yeah, I used to mess with that back in the day. But there's also an equal or greater number of people who are saying like, hey, I've never touched this stuff. I don't know where to start. I don't know what I'm looking at or what I have to learn or anything like that. So while I've been getting into it, I've just been doing my best to build a knowledge base and hopefully bring some information to people to develop that skill set for them a little bit. So away from guns into drones, probably going to fuck around with like Meshtastic and like radio stuff pretty soon here too, which actually dovetails in very nicely with the drone stuff. So sort of diversifying my interests, and that kind of came from a place of, like I said, working a ton, but also burnout. I mean, you've been around in the gun cad community for a long time. There's going to be months and periods where it's just like, man, I've built everything that I'm interested in building. Even myself as a designer, it's like I've built my own designs dozens of times. And at that point, it's kind of like, this isn't really fun anymore. It's just like bug fixing. And that gets old. So it was like that combination of sort of burnout and traveling that has kept me kind of low profile. And it's been nice to be low profile. I'm not super itching to like get back into it, but I'm never leaving out of battery, because those are my boys, and I absolutely not going to leave the relationships that I've built in GunCat either. So, yeah, really long answer to a short question.
No, I mean that's perfect. That's why I enjoy having you on shows because you're one of those people that I could interview, bro, and I'll just ask you the question and you go. And I mean, I love everybody that I interview, but certain people you have to keep asking questions,
Yep.
and it's a lot of people think this podcasting or YouTubing is easy, and it might be easy compared to other type of jobs, but you also have to have a nick for the way that you interview, you talk, and you let people know what's on your mind. Because, I mean, sometimes it's hard to kind of explain certain situations, and not everybody is very outgoing and able to speak at just any question is asked, you know. um and I mean, I love everybody I interview. Like, I know who I'm gonna interview and where I'm gonna get like just the generosity, and who I'm gonna get good questions from and good answers from. But let's talk about those drones. I have some questions about that drone, right?
Mhm.
um how long does the battery last on that one, the one you just showed?
Yeah, so this little guy is probably somewhere between like 6 to 8 minutes, depending on how hard you want to fly it. So when you're doing these little FPV guys, you're using just lipo batteries, so like lithium polymer. You guys are used to seeing, like, if you've got goon beam flashlights, which if you don't, you're retarded. You should go get some. But they've got like 18650s, 350s, 18350,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Those are they look like thick double A's, right? Lithium polymer batteries are these kind of weird, like fat stacked like cell batteries. Like this is a 6 cell battery, which is a little bigger than I would put in this dude. But the one that I usually will run is somewhere between like 6 to 8 minutes. But then I can also take those same 18650s for like a goon beam flashlight, and just like solder up a bunch of those together and keep this thing in the air for like 20-25 minutes, which doesn't sound like a long time, but in
No.
that time, this thing can go like without a doubt 7-8 kilometers away and return, and have time to loiter at your final destination. So if you are, let's say, on vacation, and you maybe you can't get up to like the cool waterfall that you wanted to hike to for whatever reason, roads closed, you can still send your drone out there, get some really awesome footage, and take notes of anything that might be moving around by that waterfall or something like that, and then bring it home. And you've still got a lot of range on it. You can definitely get into bigger drones too that have way better flight times, and can carry more things. And that's a little bit of like a thrust to weight ratio thing that we can definitely get into if you want me to get nerdy about it. But short answer, 6 to 8 minutes if you're like ripping around, doing tricks, having fun, sending it fast. Like 18 to 25 minutes, something like that. If you take it easy and you're just doing, I don't want to say recon. That's definitely not the right word. That implies something that I don't intend.
uh
If you exploration, if you are
yeah.
intending on exploration, you can do 18 to 25 minutes.
Okay, cool. And then Spectre Wright says, damn, that's just nice. How much to build? Like, how much was that small build that you just showed us
Yeah.
about?
Oh, for sure. So and that's one of the cool things about drones is you can get as fancy or as cheap as you want. So I intended this because I do travel a lot for work. I wanted something that I could ideally like just have in my backpack at work, and then once I'm done for the day, go out to the local park and like rip around for an hour and a half or something like that. But because this is going to be something that it's like my personal drone just to have fun with, I wanted to
Yeah.
have like a nice digital FPV system. So you're like viewing what this camera right here views through some goggles, and I wanted that to be like a really nice like 1080p video feed, so that it feels
Uh,
like really immersive. You can also do things like I have a 5 inch here. So this is a geez. I have a 3.5 here. This is a 5 inch drone that doesn't have props on. So serious size difference if I can figure out where my camera is. And this one's got an analog style video that if you guys remember, if you ever look through like those terrible like videos of that people post of like people fighting in hotel lobbies, and they have that really grainy like old school footage from like the 90s. That's what
yeah.
that video feed is like, and there's like a pretty serious price difference between those. Because I went digital with this one, this ended up costing somewhere between like 350 $400. If you wanted to go with that like easier video system or that cheaper one, the analog, you could cut that down to put it together for like $200 or less. Um,
Damn. Okay, and then
again,
JC says those running it on Raspberry Pis.
they are not. So let's see if I can. It's probably going to be kind of tough to see with my lighting in here, but if you can see these boards that I have running in the center, that's called a flight controller and an ESC, which is, I don't remember what ESC stands for, but basically it's the thing that tells the motors how fast to spin. Not a Raspberry Pi, it's way simpler than that. And if you wanted to incorporate something like a Raspberry Pi, you totally could, but that would be external.
And then we got
Um,
IPS saying,
so, for legal
hey, you don't
reasons,
have to answer that question, bro.
uh, so I mean, we'll just we're gonna say for legal reasons that yeah, it's totally the remote ID thing, like 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it
Uh,
is. And
you
then
just text me, dude. You could don't ask me Fed questions on the air. Come on, that's brutal.
okay, so I think we'll talk one last. Well, I have one last questions about the drones, and then we'll move on to something else. Spectre says, "Why don't people like the DJIs?" I think the DJIs don't let you fly certain perimeters, right? Like they got a blocker that won't allow you. And this now I don't allegedly I don't know shit about law, so don't listen to what I'm saying because if you go read my channel description, this is pure satire. It's for comedy purposes. We're just bullshitting, but allegedly they DJIs some places require a license, and I know the DJIs will once you try to enter a zone, it won't let you enter that zone or something. I don't know if you could explain better than I can.
Yeah, so DJI definitely has just like no fly zone software in it. So yeah, absolutely places you cannot fly. It limits you on how high you can fly in the United States. And yes, 100% you can jailbreak DJI. So there's NFC, no fly zone NFZ mods that you can do to get rid of that. There definitely is. I'm not saying that I have done it, nor can I tell you where to do it. And I'm not going to tell you things like there's a GitHub page that's just like a simple script that you can download and execute,
We're
because
not
that
gonna
would
say that.
that would be very unethical. But you can get rid of those kind of things. Those are some concerns people have. Another thing, DJI is definitely a Chinese company, and like all Chinese tech, really poor security and a lot of backdoors in it too. So, like there was just a dump recently that DJI was compiling all of these like flight footage,
What the
like
fuck?
they were collecting the footage itself, location information, the radio information, so the location of the person, like broadcasting the radio signal that controls the drone, where they were in relation to the drone, that kind of stuff.
Damn.
There's so when you think of like people are all kind of all up in arms about like banning TikTok because it's a national security concern because there's like a
Yeah,
lot of Chinese backdoors.
yeah, because we like our spying through American agencies only. Only Google and Facebook and Instagram could spy on us. Nobody
And
else,
Amazon, but yeah, yep.
allegedly.
And DJI has that same stuff built in it, so that's a big part of why people don't like them. In the drone community itself, too, people really dislike the fact that DJI just like fucking hates its customers. They 100% are for like industry and commercial use. There is like they have offerings for the just hobbyist market, but they really don't care about anything that the hobbyists want. Like there's a lot of simple features that would be super simple for them to integrate, and people have told them, hey, just give us access to this one small thing that won't affect any of your core stuff and we'll do it for you. And they still don't want to do it because they really don't care about hobbyists. So all of the security things, them being dicks, and then also the fact that they're like really expensive are all parts of it. But at the same time, like people still use DJI because it's like Apple. The company sucks, and no one likes them, and they are 100% an evil corporation, but they make really nice products. So they will probably always be around. And in terms of the quality that you get from like image software, from the just usability stuff,
Yeah.
they're second to none. So they're
And
not going anywhere.
their gimbal system is amazing. Like the
Yep.
system they use just for the way that when it moves, it doesn't the stability on their cameras for their drones and even their gimbal handheld cameras are top quality. But yeah, every other shit is just I mean like you said, bro, it's Apple, um
Mhm.
let me ask you something. You were talking about how you've been working a lot and how you stepped from the community a bit. And I think a lot of the people in the community are doing that. Mr. Snow is taking a break and experiencing and doing other things. And I think
Mhm.
we all get to a point where, like you said, we do something over and over. And I think especially people like us, like tinkerers, that we realize, okay, we got this down. And if we don't move around or try something different, we're gonna get bored. And then we're gonna
Yep.
end up leaving the community. And we don't want to leave the community because we love it, but at the same time, people like us like to explore new outcomes. And I know, what's his name, Kron is starting to do more things with tech on the tech side, and Snow is doing it too, and I think you're doing the same. um Let me ask you something. Do you think it's healthy to do that? It's healthy to step back and take a break and work on you, or give more time to your loved ones?
Yeah, 100%. So, I just started watching the series on Netflix, Griselda, because it's about Griselda Blanco, who, the actual person was she was incredible,
Yeah.
really just amazing. But, there's a quote in there that they're talking about, like, when they're gonna go, like, sell coke to the rich white kids at, like, Coral Gables and other places in Florida, and they're like, "We're bringing them something that they're so rich that they forgot about," and that's the joy of experiencing new things. And I feel like in the GunCAD community, because we have access to like these free files and stuff like that, we have just this such a rich library of projects that we can get into. That I know for myself, it got to the point where I was on like, I don't know, probably my like 30th build or something like that. And it stopped being very exciting for very long. And it was at that point, it's like, why would I spend all of this time and this frustration on something that's not giving me the amount of pleasure that I could get if I were, say, spending time with my family? So
Correct.
being able to like take a step back, uh, do those things that are important to maintain like yourself as a person, and then come back to it when you can experience that joy of new things again, I think is a really, really healthy way to get after it.
No, you're right. I think you're right. I think what helped me was that I took a break, and now, I mean, I was burned out. I was burning out. I was doing show every week, two shows sometimes, and it was fun. But at the same time, it was more for me not to think of the shit show that was actually going around in my life. I was using it as an escape more than a hobby. You know.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
think I was kinda doing the same thing, and, it's good when you finally recognize that it was a problem, but there's also that, "Oh, shit," moment where it's like, "Wow, I have spent how much time and money and effort and all of that pouring myself into this, where if I had applied that somewhere else, where would I be in life?" You know? Those are big questions, and it's good to ask them of yourself time to time, lest you just get, like, lost in the like IPS says, "The tism takes you where it wants." Yeah, you gotta keep the reins on that, or it can take you to some weird places.
yeah, no doubt. I mean, and I know that you were talking about Griselda, right? And I remember that line because I was watching it, and when I heard that line, it just made me think of, like, I got to a point where I was so bored that I was just trying certain things that I didn't like. I really would like. It had no benefit for me, and I was just doing it because I was bored, and I had
Mhm,
reached like a plateau in my life, and it's scary. But now
mhm.
that we're talking about Griselda, I know me and you communicate a weird way.
Yep, that's fair. That's totally fair.
I mean, we keep in touch, but I don't think we really talk, right? I'd be sending you a bunch of Detroit rap memes, and then we'd be talking about Dragon Ball Z or food. I think those are the three things me and you the way me and you communicate, right? And I know that you kept asking me questions about Dragon Ball Z, and shout out, RIP to the Dragon Ball Z creator, because the Mexicans actually lost a Mexican. you know?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly do like it does kind of feel like all of Mexico is in mourning right now.
Yeah.
And R.I.P. Akira Toriyama, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember even where that originally came from, but I was just like, I vaguely remember someone saying that this was like a big thing. And I was like, who's someone that I know that might know a little bit more about that, could educate me? I was like, Sabr would know about that. I'm gonna ask him. And hey, I'm glad I did, man. Absolutely.
No, yeah. I think like we had certain anime, like Mexico had certain anime only. And that was something Saiyan, which is like about zodiacs. I don't know if you heard of it.
Mm-mm.
I forgot. Somebody might know it, but it's this anime about the zodiac constellations and stuff like that. We had that, and then Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball is what we had, and everybody grew up like wanting to, be like in those animes. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, you see how Mexicans take it to extents where they're naming their kids after Dragon Ball characters, or they're putting their kids in the little pot and then doing parties for them. And it's like it embedded it in Mexican culture,
Mhm.
um, to the point where like now there's even like narco corridos, about Gohan
Yep.
or Goku, and there's like dedications where like all these, narcos people are giving them shout outs,
Mhm.
and I think it's because of how they're warriors,
Yeah.
the warriors spirit is embedded in Dragon Ball Z, that I think the Mexicans really gravitate towards it. And I mean, we in the Aztec culture, we also have a flying dragon. So I mean, the dragon, that makes sense.
Mhm.
But I know you also get into that the narco side of Instagram, right? And I've been sending you certain things. And what do you think of the technology that they're using right now, like the jammers and the way they're dressed? And you saw the little vehicle; it had a screen on it, so maybe they're using drones to do recon when they're gonna do missions. Like, saw that post I sent you? What went through your mind?
Dude, I when I saw that, I was just thinking about there was I want to say it was in like 2018 or 2019, something like that, somewhere in Michoacan. CJNG was fighting like Los Viagras or someone else, just in that area. And it was like one of the first few times that it was like we were seeing extensive use of like drone warfare and other like fifth generation warfare in a non-organized, non-war, technically non-war zone type application. It's like, holy shit, these guys are not fucking around with any of it. That when you showed me that, it was like dudes just like fully kitted out. We're talking like Cry G3s for the pants. They had plate carriers set up correctly, not like because sometimes you'll see dudes with like plate carriers don't have plates in them. The placard is like all willy-nilly. They've got like one mag in it, and it just like looks silly. Like these guys knew what they were doing. It was set up correctly. They had radio pouches. They had drone jammers on their back, so they had the Ninja system just
Yeah.
like on their shoulder, which is absolutely insane.
And it
And they're
looked like they
walking.
had Kevlar, the Kevlar holders for the jammers, right?
Yeah. Oh, they had, yeah, like holsters for them. Yep.
Yeah.
100%. Like they were not fucking around, dude. That Man, it would be really, really disingenuous to say that they are not like they're not a peer force at this point. They've got a lot of the same technologies, capabilities. They've got training from a lot of the same places that peer armies would get training from. And speaking of that particular event like that, they did interviews with CJNG after, and they're like, yeah, we imported some quote unquote advisors
Yeah.
from Iraq, and we asked them like, "Hey, when you're fighting Americans and like you guys are fighting superior forces, what are you doing to create successful asymmetric warfare?" And they're learning from people who have actually been in it. Like they're not amateurs at this shit. It's really impressive.
No, they're not. And I think people gave the media gave so much attention to a different cartel, and I'm really not, you know, I those who know, though, they know it's El Señor, and it's
Mhm,
in Sinaloa. That's all I'm saying. But the media gave so much attention to this, and they forgot about this cartel. And now this cartel, I mean, I've seen interviews where people have said that the training facilities are like boot camp for like elite US type of military training, and that they
mhm,
have military ex US military people training them and giving them pointers and telling them how to do stuff. So they're running these covert missions. Like that's why, I mean, the vehicles itself, like I'm pretty sure you got in this rabbit hole on IG and you look at the vehicles and the type of artillery, I'm damn Mexican. Uh, I mean, just the ammunition they have, bro. The type of vehicles they're using, the type of communication things they're using. I follow this guy, and I'm not gonna say who he is, but he's selling jammers, and they're selling encrypted Blackberries. You know, they're selling all this stuff, and it's like what's going on here, because Mexico was a third world country, Mexico wasn't technologically advanced for certain things, and now it's like what the hell happened from COVID to now,
mhm,
because that's when I started seeing everything get more advanced from COVID to now.
mhm. Honestly, dude, and this is just my personal suspicion, but you're seeing a lot of this explosion in these technologies that they're using because of a lot of the partnerships that I think they're making over in Asia. Because a lot of this tech is all manufactured over there, right? So if they and I don't know that they do, but if they have partnerships with them for either profit sharing or improving like narcotics manufacturing capabilities or something like that in exchange for access to and training with this tech. That is an extremely dangerous synergistic relationship that's allowing these guys to become so advanced so quickly. And I think that comparison of like pre-COVID to current state is a great way to break down that time frame, because what I've seen, that makes a lot of sense. Granted, I am just a casual observer, and I can't say that I really know anything, but I've seen a lot of that too, and I kind of think that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, because they're having not just regular Wi-Fi jammers, they're having listening jammers, the little things that look like microphones, you know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
That are able to jam certain signals now, and it's to the point where you're uh I think I want to talk about something, right? The issue that's going in Haiti right now, right?
Hmm. Yep.
The issue with the barbecue, I think they call them, right, or something like that. Jimmy the
Yeah.
barbecue. Okay,
Oh, what a name, dude! Holy
yeah.
crap!
Let's talk about this guy. So this guy wants allegedly for Haiti to vote for their own president, for the people to elect their own president, right? But listen to his terms. His terms is he wants Haiti to have a president that his family lives in Haiti. Now, why would you want in a country that's torn by war to have a president that the family resides and lives inside of Haiti?
You can get to
Because
him.
now you keep the family hostage in Haiti, and the president has to do your bidding. You
Hmm.
know, and you look at the I mean, you look at the way they allowed this person to get this far, and then you start realizing there has to be higher powers that be. There's pictures of this man wearing a Freemasonic chain, and the reason I'm talking about this is because there was this paramilitary group in Michoacan that was created as protectors of the people. They were created to protect the people to fight against the cartels, and the
Hmm.
government was funding this group that was there for the people. And before this guy died, he made a video explaining everything, trying to sell it because he was going to run for a politician. Well, in this video, you could clearly see this man is wearing a Masonic ring, and has a Masonic Bible. So it's a Bible, but it's has the Masonic arms, right? And now you
Mhm.
start thinking that, okay, where did they get this thing about the Templars? Because they had a group called the Templars, and they did everything to a T as the Templars did. Where is all this occult symbolism stuff coming from, and why are they getting indoctrinated into it, and how is certain people getting funded for certain weapons, certain technology, like you said? And if you guys don't know, China has a big big contract with a lot of these third world countries, and people are not paying attention to it. China has its hands in Africa. China has its hands on all the borders bordering the US. And that's why now more than ever, what you're doing with learning and just tinkering is so important, because you could create your own thing out of the system that's already in place. So you know
Mhm.
what you're creating is pure. And I think a lot of us are not really thinking about that at this moment. I don't know. I don't know how I got into this. Sorry.
No, no, absolutely, dude. Man, there's so much going on, and you could spend hours and hours and hours getting into how they got here, where all of that came from. And the funny part of it is too is like all of the things that we think make a lot of sense, and there's like a lot of correlations. We would never be able to prove. So, how do you bring that to an audience and say like, yeah, I'm presenting this to you as fact?
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it. I noticed that you're kind of shying away from saying the names of these groups. Should I be doing that? I'm not. I wasn't
I
really
mean,
thinking about it. Is this like dangerous?
the only reason I'm doing it, bro, is because I'm Mexican and I have family that lives there. You know what I mean?
Understood. Sure.
And
I
and and I'm gonna say certain things, but I'm not gonna say certain names. I have family members that got murdered by cartels. My cousin, he had to leave his family. Like, there's this thing called blog del narco. If you guys go to blog del narco, my cousin, his wife and his wife's family were on that. And I my cousin told me that the people that went to go do that job were not regular civilians. They were militaried out. Like, they knew what they were doing, the way they executed and killed the grandma, his sister-in-law that was pregnant, the way they cleared the rooms and everything. So that's why I stay away from saying the names, because I've had it in I have I mean we I have family that is, going through certain situations. I'm from the center of Mexico, which right now everybody's fighting for that part. And I have family from certain areas in Mexico that are, the only way you could reach that area is you have to call before you get there. They'll come down in trucks, escort you to the town, and then somebody has to be like, yeah, I know him. So I mean, you're cool. I don't know, you don't have no Mexican family, but that's why I don't say, like, to say certain names.
Yeah, we can totally. If it's a not a good idea to talk about this topic, I don't want to make you do that.
No, I mean,
Please
I don't
don't.
I don't really care, because I'm not mixed in it.
Mm.
And we're not saying anything that, like, disrespectful. We're just pointing out things that we're seeing, that, like, talking about the gear, because I mean, I was surprised when I saw the gear, and I
Mhm.
knew, like, oh, it's stuff that we're not talking about anything that is secret. This is on social media, you
Yeah,
know.
public
Um,
knowledge.
yeah, and I really, like, when I saw the stuff, I sent it to you, because I think I posted one once where they had uh drone knocking systems, right? And I think you saw
Mhm.
it. What did you say about that one?
Just the fact that they have it is incredible because it's so you can build very I don't want to say crude, they're still effective, but like fairly crude looking, like kind of homebrew systems to accomplish a lot of these tasks. But they didn't have that. They had a couple of systems that governments are paying tens of thousands of dollars for single units, and they had seven of them on seven guys in a Bearcat. which is already like a $300,000 armored fighting vehicle. Like this, the resources that they have are just staggering. It's incredible. It really
Yeah.
is.
So it's like, and I think it's insane. Like, you know what kind of uh grinds my gears, bro, is that I be posting certain things and they'll take it out, but then you go into these rabbit holes on Instagram where you see so much stuff. What the heck is going on? Like my post of like me showing like part of a slide, right? I think a while back I had Hoffman on, and he didn't even show a full thing. The stuff was hanging in the background, like you see where my TV's at. So he wasn't even touching it or holding it. That video got flagged, and I'm like, what? Like it, certain things don't make sense, but at the end of the day, um, I think why they're attacking the community a lot is because they're scared that we are able to create something in case shit hits the fan, and we're gonna have a at least a fight, like a fair chance, if I
Mhm.
kind of explain myself correctly.
Yeah.
um and then I kind of want to ask you a question, right? I know that, and this is, I mean, this is real talk with Sabr. This is not late nights with Sabr. That's why I named the show what I named it. um because I want to ask certain questions to you, because what I went through and me dying and stuff like that. The only thing that actually gave me a hope of getting out of that darkness was having faith in something, right? And I know you had a similar experience with your cancer stuff, right? Is
Mhm.
that cool if we talk about it?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So when you were going through that battle, like, did you have to find some inner strength to believing in a higher power, or I mean, what were you holding on to at that moment?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So like a little bit of background for those that may not have seen like the first interview. I had stage 4 cancer. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma when I was 19, and it was like really pretty unnerving to be told like, hey, you very well could not see your 20th birthday. Like that's a fairly reasonable thing that might happen. Like that was, man, when you're at that age, you think that you're like an adult and you know things, and then someone
Yeah.
comes to you and they're like, hey, like you're gonna fucking die, dude. There ain't shit you can do about it. It like really puts things in a weird perspective. And at the time, I was like I was bitter about a lot of things, right? Like um, you kind of have this thought of like, how in the world could there ever be a God if this God exists and is all powerful? They have chosen to give me this, so they're clearly a dick.
Yeah.
And thoughts like that, and how do you reconcile that with this just feeling that I think all humans have, that there is something greater than them, right? I think every human has a propensity towards either spiritualism or religion, or just wants something to believe in. And at the time, I was very confused about what the actual answer to that was. I know for myself, I used a lot of things to just kind of escape my mind and not think about it, because honestly, at that point, like that's one of those topics that your brain just can't, you can't wrap your brain around the concept of your own finality. You can think that you can, and you can like really think about it to an extent, but you can't conceptualize and predict in the way that you can for like, if you think about, oh, I'm going to make this dish and it's going to taste like this because it has these ingredients and things like that.
Yeah.
You have no basis that you can go on and say like, oh, it'll be like this. So it's just 100% a leap of faith. And so at that time, I was very, very confused, and I think definitely in the last couple of years for sure, I felt a lot stronger of a pull towards Christianity, which was the religion that I was raised in. I feel like there's a lot of things in there that really speak to me, and I'm not going to get too far into that because I know that's probably not what the listeners are really trying to get into, but.
Mhm.
I was in just like a really, really weird place mentally. And I definitely did have a very strong sense that there was something greater. And I just had no idea what it was. And then it took me like an additional 10 years to kind of figure out what that answer is for me. uh, what I think it is for. Yeah, we'll cut that off there.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I totally agree with you. I think the reason I asked you this question is because I was kind of thinking today as I was driving to work. I knew I was going to interview you, and in my head, I was like, I wonder if he felt the same way I felt. Like when all that stuff happened to me. When I lost. I know I lost my son, I lost my stepdad, then I lost my brother-in-law, and everything just went through my head, and I hated God, bro. Like I cursed him. um Luckily I had certain people around me that were spiritual and a little bit wiser than me, and explained to me that, who am I to question how God works, or how the world works. um
Mhm.
I'm just a small drop, and that helped me realize that nothing is promised. And then having me die kind of was like another way of me realizing, like, yo, like, you gotta get up and do stuff, because I would always say tomorrow, tomorrow. And the funny part is that I was so selfish, bro, that I didn't even have a disease, but I chose to kill myself little by little. And I think that's where I had so much anger with me for a while. Like, when because I try to think, like, why was I mad when they died? And I think I was mad that they died because I was killing myself for no reason, but they died for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like you said, you try to make sense of stuff, and the more you try to overthink it and ask questions, the worse it just gets. And I think that's why I asked you this question, because I'm like, I know he's gonna say something, and I just want to understand, like, we all feel a certain way at a certain time, but sometimes we don't want to talk about it because we're scared of what others gonna say and how we're gonna feel like we're being judged. But I mean, I'm in my mid 30s, and I'm barely kind of understanding this thing we call life.
Mhm.
So I'll drop it there too.
You can get real deep into that rabbit hole for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then I know people were asking about the Lotus. I got a couple questions about that one, and I've always asked you about that one because I fell in love with that one. I think that's how I first started noticing your stuff, was through the Lotus. Is the Lotus ever gonna see the day of light?
Yeah. So, and you're talking about the lever gun, right?
Yes,
Okay,
the
for sure, for
Locust.
sure.
Yeah, I'm tripping. I
Yeah,
know.
it's so the Lotus was also a thing.
Oh, okay.
1776 Supply Co. Took my design, the Scarab, and they like adapted it to their DIY upper Mac,
Oh
and they
shit.
called it the Lotus. Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify.
No,
But no,
no.
so where is the Locust? Well, I got about four of them sitting in parts in a box under my workbench, and I have one friend, tallest midget. If you're out there listening, absolutely love the dude. He's kept it alive in my heart because, like, my ADHD is so bad, man. I got really deep into the project and I got really far with it, and then I saw a new shiny thing, and it's like it never existed, and I never wanted to come back to it ever again. So he's been keeping it alive in my heart, and I appreciate that. I I definitely feel very attached to the amount of time and work that I've put into it because that was like, man, I have sunk a lot of myself into that project. So it's really hard for me to either just step in and finish it, acknowledge that I've just been fucking up for as long as I have by not putting it out and telling people that I would, or giving it to someone else who wants to work on it. And I have been at a point where I need to shit or get off the pot for like a really, really long time. And I still haven't really gotten a good answer to that. And I'm really concerned that if I commit to an answer right now and I'm like, yeah, it'll be out by Christmas,
Yeah.
then I'm just going to forget about it again. And someone's going to ask me in 6 months and I'm going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I never said that.
But we
So
heard you.
yeah, man, I want badly to put it out. So as far as like where the actual project is, um, parts are fitting fine. It's very buildable. I need to make documentation for it. There's like a couple of small issues that we were having that we need to figure out. So like when we were playing with things like CCI stingers and stuff like that. So those are like the super, not super high power, but they're like probably one of the stronger, if not the strongest, like 22 round you can get, right? We were having some issues where the lockup that we had was not holding the way that it should. And my concern is longevity testing, and also the idea that like if this is a lever gun 22, that's something that you're going to take out with your buddies. It's something that like if you have young kids, like you want them to learn on a 22 because it's a safe
Yes.
gun. And let's say one day you take that kid out hunting and you want to go get some squirrels or something. Well, stingers are really common for that. So if this can't handle that, then that's a serious problem, and I'm not comfortable releasing that. Uh, because safety is a really, really big thing with me. I know safety's not sexy, but I would be absolutely mortified, never give myself if I were to find that I did not do my due diligence safety wise before I gave a project out into the public like that. So this probably just sounds like more excuses, and that's totally fair. But no, that's where the project is at. I need to figure out what to do to reinforce that, such that there's no chance that that's going to ever potentially hurt someone.
No,
So I
yeah.
would love to have the project out. That's kind of where it's at. I'm sorry. I will be the first to say that I'm. I've been fucking up. And OA is another person who's been instrumental in testing that project. I love you, dude. We need to get it out, but I just that's a complex one. That is a hard question. And
I
I gave
mean,
you a
I
really
told
meandering answer to it too. Sorry.
no, I think you know you spoke from the heart, and I mean safety, safe. I mean, like you said it, 22s are mostly for kids to learn. Like, I mean, if I'm gonna build a 22, I feel like okay, somebody in my family, my nephew, my niece, they could handle it, and I would like to have them enjoy it. So I think the way you're thinking is totally correct. We don't want some fingers blown off because we think 22s are safe, but I could testify I almost blew my hand off with a 22, and I'm not going to say which one, but if you know, you know.
Yep. Yep. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's important to remember, like it's a gun, it's a bullet. Firearms are inherently dangerous. They have it on every single firearm manual that you will ever see in your life. They can hurt people. So if we can get it to a point where that's the chances of that would require a bunch of things going wrong, I would feel a lot better about it.
Okay. And one last question, because I haven't eaten at all, bro. I've been
You're
up
good,
since
dude.
5:30, and
Yeah.
I think the me not eating is affecting me. Um I want to know, bro. I want to know something. What are you gonna do? Like, what are you concentrating on now? What is your next project? Are you gonna stick to the drone stuff? And how do you feel taking a break? Like, I want to know, how does it feel from stepping away? And I know work is important. People say we work too much, but the way the economy is at this moment, we have to work to pay bills, to afford certain things. So what are your plans for this year at least? I mean, we're almost half in, like, what, 3 months in. What are your plans?
Yeah. So I definitely want to, I mean, I will be sticking with the drone stuff, pretty much guaranteed, because at this point, like on the one hand, it's an awesome skill to learn. And you can definitely become very useful with having that skill. But more than that, it's just a lot of fun. Like, man, I spend probably 70+% of the time that I'm like thinking or doing anything with drones, just having fun. Like you can, there's simulators that you can do on the computer if you can't go fly outside, which is winter here in the north, like really sucks. So you can't really go fly outside. It's just miserable. Been doing a lot on the sim. Now that the weather's getting a lot nicer, it's like a great excuse to just go out to the park, spend an hour or two sitting in the sun. Hopefully you can bring some friends along and you can be talking while you're doing it. Or if you're just there solo, it's super, Yeah, it's like one of those flow state things that you can kind of do where you turn your brain off. You're so focused on just the thing that you're doing, you don't necessarily have intention with it, and it just like flows from your fingertips to whatever you're doing. And in this case, it's directing a roller coaster that you control. And so I'm not going to be going away from the drone thing anytime soon. I'm definitely going to be augmenting that with things that are a little bit more to taste for the people that are probably watching this and are in the GunCat community. So things that I'm really interested in. I think it would be awesome to figure out a good way to do like a fixed wing drone that is sort of like a pusher concept, where you've got this drone that it's a fixed wing, it's got extremely long flight times, and it's just sitting up in the air. It is either providing like aerial exploration photography, we'll say, and it's also providing a repeater for encrypted comms or something like that. So let's say you're in a situation where, like, what was it, a month or 2 months ago, all of the major cell carriers had serious outages. You would be able to throw this drone up in the air, and if you've got family or friends that are within like a 100-mile plus radius, even though you don't have cell phones, you have your own private communications network that you have sent up. It's encrypted, so it's secure, and you don't have to worry about people stealing your grandmother's recipes or something like that, we'll say. And you have the ability to communicate with those loved ones in the event of a disaster. I think that's really interesting. I think that there's a lot of things that you can do that are not just establishing your own communications network, but learning about the other communications networks that you might be flying over. I think that's really interesting. There's also the ability to use your drone as something that can carry things, right? So let's say you've got a buddy who he just had he had a terrible shift at work. He was working outside the whole day. He's just like super hot, and you want to just go deliver him a cold one, right? Like, you know, he needs a beer right now, and you want to be able to just go deliver this beer to him. I think systems that would enable you to do things like that are extremely interesting. We've seen a lot of really great advancement in that area, and there's a lot of stuff that's public domain, and there's a lot of private stuff too that if you find the right people and you know how to get a hold of them, or what their signal is or something like that, you can learn a lot. And I think that those are really interesting. So I would love to put together some kind of either write up or something like that. That's kind of like a, hey, here's the very basics. Here's places you can go for more information, and here's something that you can fuck around with in the meantime. Would absolutely love to be doing that in the next year. I think that I will return to GunCat at some point. Just because I naturally, having the terrible ADHD, I get burned out and I want to go do other things. I might want to take a break from the like working on that side of things and just go shoot, because sometimes a little bit of like lead therapy is what you need. So it'll probably be somewhere in there. And yeah, no, we'll end that there.
No, I mean, I think that's great, because I'm interested in that, like I said, I've had like little 30 $40 drones that you order, and
Mhm.
they're fun to play with. And like you said, we would take them to job sites, when I was doing construction, and during our lunchtime would just be playing around with them, having fun, messing around with other coworkers, but the batteries don't last as long, and having something you could build and that you're able to fly certain places, allegedly just for fun would be amazing. And I get what you're saying, man. Count me in that project. Like, we need to keep in touch and talk more about that,
Mhm.
um,
Absolutely.
but I
And
really enjoy having you. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so one quick little plug that I wanted to give. So that's something that that's a project I would like to put together in. Am I in the sim right now? No, I'm not. My controller's actually in that backpack, and I'm going to be taking it. I have to go back to work tomorrow. I work another weekend, and I'm not happy about it. But what I am going to do is just go ahead and plug really quickly. If you would like to get like a super quick primer on kind of the state of fifth generational warfare or asymmetric warfare as it relates to things like drones, there's a dude on Instagram that you can follow. So it's Chris. God, I can.
What look at
Rants or something like that. This is his book. So it's called The Light Fighter Manifesto. Does a really great job. And I'm trying to look up his name at the same time as I'm saying this. It does a really great job talking. Oh, Christopher Rants is what it is. So on Instagram, he is at Christopher underscore M underscore Rants, RANCE. This does a great job talking about here's some electronic things that you need to be getting into. Learn these types of coding, look into these technologies. He gets into here's some drone things that you need to think about. He gets into other stuff too, that like things that I think are just very, very interesting, and I hope to I never want to have to use them in my real life, because like that would be like a terrible situation in which I would need to know what to do with a diagram like this. Um,
damn.
it's just like he's got some really incredible content in here, and highly, highly recommended. It was like $15 or something that I was just like really tired and I bought it and didn't remember that I bought it. But it's also really pretty, like the book itself. So this is like a
And
guide on. It has what's that?
it has a lot of pictures, so like for people like me that I can't read, like that is a perfect book.
Yeah,
Just saying.
lots of great visuals. And the other thing is like it's illustrated and it's put up here in a very pretty and I would say eye-catching way. So were it not about the content that it is about, I would have this as a coffee table book. It is genuinely a really, really nice book and a great place to get that primer. So if you guys are looking to learn more, and none of my thoughts on this are out or anything like that, that's a great place to go check out. Dude knows his stuff, and it's a fantastic way to learn more.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Anything else you want to let the people know before we leave?
Yeah, real quick. So if you guys don't know, Out of Battery is the GunCAD podcast that I am a part of. We've been taking a little bit of a break. We will be coming back at some point. Still on that break, but if you guys are going to Makers Match 4 in Pennsylvania, some of us will be there. Come say hi. We're not like working it or anything. We're just coming to hang out with the people. Come say hi. Other than
All
that,
right.
not a ton. You can find me. I'm still on Instagram for now. I might not be in like a week or two. We'll see, because I sink way too much time into that. But yeah, no. Try finding me on there. If that doesn't work, ask around. Someone probably knows.
Yeah. So his Instagram is down there, guys. Then I think you're on Twitter. Do you use or X now? Do you use X?
I think I got Twitter just so that no one else would take the name and then start memeing me. I've logged into it like maybe 2 or 3 times, and I like posted when I released the Scarab 2, and that was it.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys for having us. I'm burnt out. As you guys could tell, I've been
You're good.
fasting all day. Um, so I think I've been like going 13 hours without water or food. Um, but my skin complexion looks amazing.
Absolutely. 100%. Is that for Ramadan?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
So I'm
Ramadan
doing it for
Mubarak, my dude.
Ramadan. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. So, all right,
Absolutely.
guys. You guys know what it is. This week I had two back-to-back shows. Next week I won't have anything till the week before. The only reason I did two back-to-back is because I worked with Stormtech schedule. I wanted to have them in because I mean, like I said, I think the last time we interviewed was a while back, and I know I go look at Instagram, and you're not as active as you were, but I know that the way me and you communicate is just how we communicate, and I appreciate that. I appreciate having those, bi daily talks or every other day talk. You sending me stuff, I'm sending you stuff. I really enjoy your friendship, bro, and you're an amazing guy. And I really want to get to hear more about the drone stuff you're trying to work on, because I think in the future it's gonna be very, very a very necessity. I can't even speak, bro.
Mhm. No, you're good, dude. I feel the same. Grateful for you too, homie. I understand. No worries.
All right, man. Take care, guys. See you later. Thank you for tuning in. Take care, Storm.
Thanks, y'all.